in Bilam Bezah, Hama Matamani, Nama Senabas, Nava Shashamni, Asanas, Shashamni, with Nava Manino, the Nava Shamaino, Nava Shiri, and Nome, Nava Shiri, and Nome, with Nava Manino, the Nava Shamaino, Nava Shiri, and Nome, Nava Shiri, and Nome.
Hello everyone, as we get closer to Shabbat Chanukah, there's one more issue we have to deal with. Not every shul is blessed with 3 Sifrei Torah. Some shuls have 20 Sifrei Torah, but other shuls have 2, or maybe even 1. What should they do on a Shabbos when there's 3 different Kriyos HaTorah, Parshat Miketz, Rosh Chodesh, and Shabbat Chanukah? Well, if they have one dead giveaway, that's the one they have to read from, in the order we already said, namely Miketz, Rosh Chodesh, and then back to Shabbos Chanukah. But if they have 2, what should they do? So very surprisingly, the Ramah paskins on this question regarding Simchas Torah, another day that we always read from 3 different Sifrei Torah. We finish V'zot HaBracha, then we read Bereshit, then we read the Maftir from Parshat Pinchas, comes along the Ramah and says, this is what you should do. From the first Torah, you should read V'zot HaBracha, the second Bereshit, and then the third Maftir. Now, I remind you, that third is in V'zot HaBracha, and you have to roll it back to Parshat Pinchas. And then he adds, V'chen osin b'chol makom deba'inan gimel Sifrei Torah, ve'ein lahem rak shtayim. And that's what you do anytime that you only have 2 Sifrei Torah on a day that you have to read 3 different readings. Well, there's a machlokas how to understand this Ramah. Comes along the Aruch HaShulchan, Rav Yechiel Michael Epstein, who made it to the 20th century, and says that this is on principle. Why? Because lo yikra shnei dvarim b'sefer Torah achat keseder. It is forbidden, for some reason or another, to read 2 different readings from the same Sefer Torah. You want to give importance to each and every reading. The way to do that is to read it from a different Sefer Torah. So according to the Aruch HaShulchan, even though it would be much more practical to read the Rosh Chodesh reading from the second Sefer Torah, and then roll it back a few parshas from Pinchas to Naso in the same book, Bamidbar, still he says, we don't read 2 readings from the same book. So therefore, you have to take out Sefer Torah number 1 after Hag Baglila, put it back on the table, say Kaddish, and then roll it, and roll it, and roll it to Parshat Naso. However, the Bir Halacha, which is the Mishnah Bura, the Chafetz Chaim, who also made it to the 20th century, disagrees. And he says that this is only dafka im kvar niglelet lamakom hazeh shelo yitztachru hatzibur lahamtin. This is only in a situation in which Torah number 1 is already close or right at the right place for reading number 3. Aval belav hachi, but if that's not the case, like this Shabbos, where Torah number 2 happens to be closer to where we need to read than Torah number 1, tov liglolota, it's better to roll Torah number 2. Why? Number 1, practically, shikvar munachat, it's already on the bima, v'lo la'avor ala mitzvot. And we have a rule that we shouldn't la'avor ala mitzvot. If you have a mitzvah to do and it's in your hand, do it. Don't wait for another etrog to come. Make the bracha on the etrog in your hand. There's a Sefer Torah on the bima. We just read the Kriyas HaTorah of Rosh Chodesh. That's the one that we should read, the Kriyas HaTorah of Parshat of Shabbos Chanukah. So, as you could see, even though the Ramah paskins very distinctly that you should go back to Torah number 1 for reading number 3, and the Aruch HaShulchan says this is on principle, the Mishnah Bura says it's practical. And therefore, if Torah number 2 is closer, it's better to read from that. Well, therefore, in this situation, what should we do? If you want to be choshesh for all the dayot, the best thing to do is as follows. Read Parshat Miketz, Hag Baglila, and then on a separate table, while they're reading the Torah reading number 2, you roll Torah number 1. Yes, it makes a little noise. yes, those two people may not be attentively listening to the Kriyas Torah, but as we already learned, one of the opinions brought in Shulchan Aruch is that if 10 people are listening, then person number 11 and 12 don't have to necessarily listen to the Kriyas Torah. In this case, they can do two things at once, hopefully. Roll and listen. And it's such a familiar Kriyas Torah. We read it every Rosh Chodesh. Hopefully, it will be able to be done. But if it's not practical, namely there isn't a separate table, or it's going to make too much noise, or whatever the decorum is, it's going to be ruined, then I believe you should rely on the Biur Halacha in the name of the Chemet Moshe, and basically read from Torah number 2, also the Torah reading of reading number 3, because A, Torah number 1 is not in the right place, and B, Lo La'avor Al HaMitzvot, it's already on the Bima, we might as well read from it. Not to mention, it's much more practical because it's much closer. So therefore, in that case, if you have two Torahs, Torah number 1 will be Miketz, Hag Baglila. Torah number 2 will be Parshat Rosh Chodesh, Kaddish. And after Kaddish, not do Hag Baglila, roll it for exactly 30-40 seconds to Parshat Naso. Call up the guy for Parshat Naso as you're rolling it. Read Shabbat Chanukah and then Hag Baglila.